As you know, in the world of crypto, getting into a project early is absolutely essential to make sizable gains. Now, one project I'm really excited about is in its absolute infancy, but that's where we know we can make some huge returns. The project is called Nimble, and their vision is simple: to take the very centralized area of artificial intelligence and move it onto a decentralized platform. Now, that means it's going to take a lot of graphics cards to get Nimble up and running at full speed. But that also opens up an amazing opportunity for each of us to start earning through programming that AI. Now, before you start getting upset at me and say, hey, Serenity, I don't have a $2,000 graphics card, so once again, another project I don't get to participate in. Well, that's where you're wrong. You see, that's what this video right here is for, because I'm going to utilize a 10-year-old computer that has an old quad-core processor, no graphics card at all, and I'm going to show you how I can start mining the Nimble token utilizing that machine. Now, before we get going, I want to let you know a couple things. First of all, I am going to spend a few dollars in Clore tokens because I'm going to be renting top-end GPUs and put them to work for me. Second of all, I am not a coder. I know nothing about it. Looks like gibberish to me. But all the information I'm going to give you in this video is in the description down below with its appropriate links. But if you do happen to get stuck, jump in the Nimble Discord. The community over there is super helpful and the team is absolutely amazing. So whatever you run into, I guarantee somebody's seen it and they've got an answer for you. So you'll never be stuck. Hey, you ready to get started? Let's dive into it. Now, to prove that I'm doing this on an old prehistoric computer, check out these stats. This computer is an AMD FX quad-core processor. That's right, this thing is ancient. Memory, I've got 32 gigs of RAM running at 133 megahertz. This is DDR3 memory. I mean, this computer is ancient. Nobody even has something this old anymore, but I'm gonna set this computer up to mine on 4090 GPUs. That's right. Now, to get started, the first thing we have to do is make sure our computer can accept virtual machine languages from Linux. So let's go ahead and turn those on. So go ahead and click Start and start typing in turn Windows features on or off. There it is. Go ahead and click on that. That's going to open up a box eventually that's going to give you a bunch of options. Scroll down here and there's two things we need to check. The first one is virtual machine platform. Go ahead and select that. Then scroll down. The next one we want is Windows Subsystem for Linux. Click on both of those, click OK. Now that's going to install them and then it's going to require a restart of our computer. So let's go ahead and let that load, restart, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, now that we've installed those and restarted the system, we're ready for the next step. To do that, we're going to go and click on Start and we're going to type in PowerShell. And that's going to bring up Windows PowerShell System. Go ahead and click on that and that's going to open up a box set for commands. Now, what we have to type in here is capital WSL space -- install, just like you see here on the screen. Once you have that typed in, go ahead and hit enter. And there you go. That's installed. Now we can start running Ubuntu commands. But here's the trick. For me personally, I like dealing with the Ubuntu program personally. So I'm going to go ahead and install that. Now, some people, they run it right here in the PowerShell window, and there's a bunch of commands. You can check your versions. But I'm going to take the easy route. So I'm going to go ahead and click Start, and I'm going to go to the Microsoft Store. Now, once in the Microsoft Store, I'm going to go in the search bar and type Ubuntu, Ubuntu. And what I'm looking for is 22.04.3 LTS. That's what I want. So I'm going to go and click on that, and I'm going to tell it to get it. And there you go. The download has begun, and as you can see, it's moving at breakneck turtle speed. So we're going to give this a second to download the Ubuntu application, then we're going to go ahead and install it. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and click on the Open button here. Okay, once it opens, it says installing. This may take a few minutes. Okay, now that it finished installing, it's asking us for a username. Now we get to set the username for Ubuntu, but it's really important to remember your username and your password because we're going to be entering that password time and time again. So right off the bat, set up a username. I'm going to make mine Serenity. Okay, go ahead and hit enter. Now it's going to ask for a new password. Now here's a tip. It will not show that you're typing anything while you're typing in the password field. So pay special attention to what you're typing in while you're doing it. Once you've entered it, go ahead and hit enter. Then it's going to tell you to retype that new password. So type the exact same password again. Once again, it will not show you what you're typing. And hit enter. There we go. Passwords updated successfully. Ubuntu is installed. We're ready to start rocking and rolling. How do you know that? Well, because it's got a $ sign here. Whenever you see the green text ended with a $sign, that means it's ready for a command, okay? So during this whole process, always look for that $sign because that's going to let us know we're ready to go to the next step. Okay, we've got our computer ready to go. We've got Ubuntu installed. Let's go ahead and close out some of these boxes because it's getting a little hectic. Now, the next step we have to do is get a passport for our computer to talk to other servers out on the internet. What we're going to create is an SSH key. This is essentially just identity for your computer. Really easy to do. Go ahead and click down here in the search box, type CMD, and that's going to open a command prompt. Now in there, you want to type in SSH-keygen space -T space ED25519, just like you see on the screen here. Once you get that in there, go and hit enter. Now this is going to say it's generating a public and a private ED25519 key pair. It asks where would you like to save this file? Default location. That's good. Go ahead and hit enter. Now it's going to ask you for a passphrase. Now you do not have to set one, but I highly recommend you do. So I'm going to use the same passphrase I used for Ubuntu. Just keep things simple. Type that in and hit enter. It'll ask for it again and hit enter. And there you go. Now it's created your SSH, or essentially I like to call it a passport. Now it tells you right here, your public key has been saved in this location. So what we've got to do is go out and get that public key because that's what we're going to need to talk to the Clore AI network. So to go get that, go ahead and open File Explorer, go to your computer, go to your C drive, go to users, and this one's under Vapology, and right here, SSH. Click on that folder. Now we want to make sure we grab the public file. We do not want the private. Very much like crypto, we do not want to give out our private keys. Public, that's what we want to be giving to people. So go ahead and open that file there. And there you go. That is our public key for our SSH. So we want to copy that. And I like to start a notepad page, just to keep all this information straight because it gets very confusing very fast. So I've created a notepad here that's named Nimble Mining Information. Okay, so there's the command we just typed in, and that gave us our public key. So we're going to go ahead and paste that right below it. Okay, once we've done that, we can go ahead and close all of this down, but we want to keep a hold of this notepad. That's where our information is going to go. Okay, so now it's time to start installing the Nimble software. To do that, I want you to open the link in the description down below titled github.com by Neo. So I want to thank Neo for putting out this document and all the links and code we're going to need. Now, right off the bat, this is saying it is designed to be used on a fresh install of Ubuntu. Now, if you just installed Ubuntu during this guide, you should be fine. But if not, and you have an older version, definitely go through the directions on how to remove the old one to make sure you have a fresh install. Okay, now once you're ready to proceed, decide if you have Windows 10 or Windows 11, because that's going to matter on which set of scripting we're going to run. Okay, I'm running on a Windows 10 machine. So we're going to open up our Ubuntu. We're going to slide that over, try and get everything on the screen at once. It does get kind of hectic, but organization does help here. We're going to take this line by line of code. So the first one being a Windows 10 machine, we're going to take this first line. Now we do not need the bracket part that says for Windows. Just copy that section up to there. Go into Ubuntu and paste it in, and then hit enter. Okay, and as you can see, it's connecting, it's working, it's done what it's supposed to do, and we're back to the $sign. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the second line of code here. Copy that. And paste it over here into Ubuntu again, and hit enter. Ask for a password. Go ahead and type your password in. Hit enter. Okay, and now let's go ahead and grab the last line of code for Windows 10. Copy that. And paste it in and hit enter. There we go. Updating system and installing dependencies. Hey, looks like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Now we just wait and let it run its course. Okay, once that's complete, it pops up with a menu box of options. Now we can install a Nimble wallet, install the Nimble miner. All these things we have to do every time we start a miner. But I want to switch over to a different documentation that I think is a little bit easier to use. So we're going to go ahead and close this guy out. Now, the second guide we're going to reference is in the description down below, and it's titled Z4CH Nodes. Now, this is a wonderful guide if you're going to mine with your own graphics card, or if you're going to rent a GPU from Vast.ai. Either one is awesome, but I like the way he set this up, and it makes it really quick and easy to reference and to teach you how to get going. So we're going to scroll down a little bit until we see install go. So we're going to stop. And then we're going to open up our Ubuntu again, because we did close it down on the last step. We're going to resize that to make it fit. So one reason I really like this guide is because all the blocks of code can be copied at once. We don't have to do a line-by-line process. Makes the process really easy and fast. So the very first block of code you see right here, at the top right, there's a copy button. Let's go ahead and copy that. go into our Ubuntu, and then paste it in. As you can see, it's asking for my password. So let's go ahead and type that in again and hit enter. There we go. Now it's off and running, going to work. Okay, we're back to the $sign. That means that block of code has been processed and it has installed the Go program. Let's go check our Go version. So let's copy that next line of code, go over into Ubuntu, paste it in, hit enter. It says we have Go version 1.22.2. Okay, it says we should have 1.22.1. Shouldn't make a difference. Let's go find out. So let's move to the next block of code. Now this is going to install the Nimble Wallet CLI. Okay, we have to have this installed to actually create our wallets. So let's go ahead and copy that guy, move over, and paste that in. Okay, now that that's all set, we can move down to generate a Nimble wallet. Now let's talk about the wallets for a quick second. We have to make a minimum of 2 wallets because we have to have a master that's going to collect our earnings. And we have to have a sub wallet. Each sub wallet is assigned to 1 GPU. So if you have 10 GPUs, you're going to have to make 10 sub wallets. Those will all get paid the rewards into the master wallet. Now, you can only have a maximum amount of 10 sub-wallets per master wallet. So if you have 20 GPUs, it means you've got to make 2 master wallets and 20 sub-wallets. So we're only going to make the 2 wallets, 1 master, 1 sub in this video. But if you want to make more wallets, simply repeat this process. So all we got to do is grab this set of code right here, move over to Ubuntu, and paste it in. Okay, now this is where we've got to pause and name each of the wallets we create. So if you look here, it's waiting for me to hit enter to run this code. But we need to change this because we don't want bracket wallet underscore name bracket. We want to name each specific wallet. You can name it whatever you want. So in this one, I'm going to name this my master. So I'm just going to simply call it master wallet. Once I've changed that name and removed the brackets, go ahead and hit enter. Now it's asking you to set a password for your wallet. Now you don't have to, but I recommend doing it. And I use the same one I use for Ubuntu just to keep everything straight. So go ahead and type that in and hit enter. And then it asks for it again, type it in and hit enter again. And there we go. Okay, now it has created our wallet. Now this is really important. This is the keys to our kingdom. So I'm going to throw these wallets away, but I want you to see exactly what I've got here. So when we break down what it just spit out, the first thing it says is our address, and it gives us a Nimble address. Now that is our public address. So what we want to do is copy that, open up our notepad that we're saving everything into. I'm going to put that on the screen at the same time. And we want to name this master wallet. And we want to paste that address it just gave us. Okay. So the address actually starts with Nimble and then a whole series of numbers and letters. Okay. Go down the next one. Now this is the private key. Okay. This is the keys of the kingdom. You do not want anybody else to see these, but you want to make sure you've got it safe. Now we are eventually going to print this document out, keep it in our file safe and get it off the computer because we don't want to keep our private keys on a computer. But right down here, see where it has the word key and then quotations? So we want to copy the word key and everything after that to the end of the quotations. So copy that, and we're going to paste it over here as our private key. Now from there, we can go and delete the quotations and all the excess of the code it spit out. And that tells us what our private key is. Lastly, it gives us the seed phrase to this wallet. So right down here at the bottom, you're going to see all your words. So we want to go ahead and highlight all those guys, copy that, go back into our notepad and go seed phrase and paste those words in. There you go. Now we've got a record of our wallet. We've got the public address, we've got the private key and the seed phrase. Now I got to warn you, the team cannot get these back for you if you lose them. So when you generate this wallet, immediately copy this into another document, notepad, Word, whatever, and keep that safe because that is the keys to your kingdom. Okay. So we have now made our master wallet. Okay. We're good there. But what we need to do is make a sub wallet. So what do? Real simple. Go back to here where it says generate a Nimble wallet. Copy that piece of code exactly the same. Go back into Ubuntu and paste it in. Once again, it's giving you that alert for wallet name. So we're going to change this wallet name to sub1. Okay. Knowing it's the first sub wallet. Once we got the name changed, go and hit enter. Now you see how it gave me a big error here? That's because I left a space in the name of the wallet. If you try and put a space in it, it's going to freak out. So that didn't work. So let's copy it again. Go back over here and paste it back in. And instead of sub space 1, we're going to change that name to just sub 1, no spaces, and hit enter. Okay, it's going to ask you for a password for that specific wallet now. So type that in, hit enter, And there we go. Now it's created our sub wallet. So let's go ahead and go back into our notepad where we're pasting all this information. And we know that right there's our address. So we're going to copy that. And to keep everything organized and clean, we're going to name this sub1 wallet. And we're going to paste in the address there. Next, we know we've got the private key. So we're going to go over here and we're going to grab our private key. And I always like to grab the stuff, even the parentheses to start with, because I'd rather edit it over into my notepad. That way I don't accidentally miss a letter at the end or something crazy if I have my Ubuntu squashed down. I can remove the quotation marks and get just the private key out of that. Lastly, we want to grab our seed phrase, and that's a series of words at the very end. Copy those, go over here. Seed phrase, okay. And there we go. So now you see how simple it is to create a wallet. All you have to do is name it something different. Now, here's a quick pointer. The application process can take some time. So while you're here right now, I highly recommend go ahead and make 9 more sub wallets. That way, when we turn on our application, we're filling that in with 1 master wallet and 10 sub wallets, just in case we decide to do more GPUs down the road. Okay, now the next step we have to do is register those wallets we just made. So as you can see, I'm in the Nimble Discord, and I put a link in the description down below. Jump in the Discord, verify that you're a real person, and then once you get over here, go down to here where it says Wallet Application. Go ahead and click on that, and then down at the bottom, it's going to give you a Forms app. Go ahead and click on Apply. Now this is where we want to fill in the information of the wallets we just created. So first, we're going to take the master wallet address. Now that's the public Nimble wallet we want to paste in here. You never want to paste in your private key or seed phrases. They don't want that, and you don't need to be giving that away. That's keys to your kingdom. Keep them safe. So paste in your master wallet address. Then we're going to grab the sub1 wallet address. We're going to copy that in, and we're going to paste that into sub wallet 1. Now, as you can see right here, it does say you can do up to 10. So if you did create all 10 subs, just hit enter and paste them 1 per line. Now, the next question is, what environment are you going to be running your miners? Are you doing it from home? Are you running them from Clore.AI? That way they know if they should prioritize because you're a real person or not. So we're going to say we're going to be renting from Clore.AI. Lastly, they want to know, where did you find out from Nimble Network? So do me a huge favor. Tell them right here, Serenity from Down Home Crypto sent me. And what that's going to do is let them know who's trying to put out the good content, who's sharing the real information, and who's just pumping the hype. So I always try to give you the best information I can and tell you about things that I'm doing myself. Nimble is one of those that I've invested some time and some energy into, and I think they've got a great product. So I'd love it if you give it a shout out that you learned about us here. Now, once you've entered in all your information, go ahead and click submit. Now, I'm not going to submit this because this is just for a tutorial, but once you do click submit, the forms will automatically send you an alert here saying that you have submitted a master wallet and all your sub wallet addresses, just like you can see right here. And it gives you all the information. So keep an eye on that, and they will alert you when you've been approved. Now, it can take some time. Now, if you want to help facilitate the process and let them know that you're a real person, here's a tip. Go up here to where it says Miner Announcements. Go in there, and they've got a post right here saying that if you want to try to get to the front of the line and let them know you're a real person and excited to get going, that you can send a direct message here to Kira or B. Let them know, hey, Serenity sent me. I got my wallet set up. I'm ready to start mining. All I need is approval. They will help facilitate in getting you up and running. But please be patient. This is one team, and they're doing a lot of work. Nimble is taken off, and there are a ton of people waiting in line. So please understand, you may be waiting a few days to get that approval. Congratulations, you got your wallets approved, and you're ready to start mining. Okay, let's get into it. So the first thing we have to do is go to Clore.AI, and I'll put a referral link in the description down below. But from here, register for an account. Go and put in your email, your password, re-enter that, verify you're not a robot, click register. They're going to send you an email. You're going to verify that. Once you have your account all set up, go ahead and log into your account. Now, of course, when you first log in, you're not going to have a balance of Bitcoin or Clore. Now, you can pay for your fees with either one, and we'll get in that in a second. But the first thing you need to do is add an SSH key to verify that that machine is talking to your machine. Remember, we created that a while back? So let's go back into our notepad where we saved that. And right there, our SSH ED. Okay, we're going to copy that whole thing right there. And we're going to go over here to Clore, and we're going to add a key. Go ahead and paste that into there and click save. And once that's saved, it'll say right down here, this is talking to Vapology, desktop, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's the SSH key, so it verifies it's talking to the right computer. Next step we have to do is fund our wallet. Now we can do that, like I said, with Bitcoin or Clore. I'm going to go ahead and do it with Clore. So I'm simply going to click deposit. Now it gives me a wallet address to deposit it to. It also lets me know I have to deposit a minimum of 75 Clore. Now Clore is currently about 20 cents a piece. That means I got to send over a minimum about $15 to fund my wallet. So let me get those tokens sent over and we'll keep going. Okay, our funds have arrived. We're ready to go shopping. But before we go out and just start renting any GPU on any computer, we've got to know what the specifications necessary to run the Nimble network. So these are the system specifications suggested from Nimble. And it says the recommended system settings is at least a 3090 or higher graphics card, a system with 16 gigs of RAM, and a recommended 256 gigs or more of space. Okay, now the minimum system requirements are an RTX 2080 with at least 16 gigs of RAM, and a minimum disk space of 100 gigabytes. So as long as we exceed the minimum system requirements, we'll be fine. But these are important details. So how do we find them? Let's go take a look at Marketplace. So when you click on Marketplace on Clore AI, this is going to give you a whole bunch of information, but we can filter this down a little bit. So the first thing we want to do is make sure our GPU count is set to 1. Because remember, we can only have one sub wallet per one GPU. So it's not going to do us any good to rent 5 GPUs and try to link one wallet to them. Okay, the next is machine RAM. Now over here it says we want a minimum of 16 gigabytes of RAM. So we can slide this guy up until we hit 16 gigs or higher. That way we know it's going to sort out the machines that are running these graphics cards to an appropriate amount of memory. The next option we want to select is, do we want to pay with Clore or do we want to pay with Bitcoin? Okay, I transferred over Clore, but if you transferred over Bitcoin to pay the fees, you would want to change this. But I'm going to keep mine on Clore. Now the next thing I want to do is change my sort from the lowest price. So let's go ahead and modify that. That way I know I'm looking at the cheapest price to start with. And the last thing we're going to select is what graphics card. So when you click on GPU here, it gives you an entire list: 4090, 3090, 3080 Ti. So to know what kind of graphics card we want to get, we're going to bring up the specs that the Nimble team shared in their Discord. So this is a list of all the graphics cards they've tested. Now, we're used to seeing hashes per second. Well, on Nimble, they operate on ITs per second. I'm guessing that's iterations, but I'm not really sure. Biggest thing is we have to understand that each graphics card does more depending on how powerful it is. So 4090 will do 60 ITs per second. Or if you go down here to a 3090, it'll only do 9 ITs per second. Really surprising is a 4080 will only do 5.8 ITs per second. So this is going to tell us the hashing power of the graphics card we're going to rent. Now, on top of that, we have to look at the price. How much are we going to pay for that graphics card to receive that type of hash rate? And that's why I like to sort this from lowest to highest. So if we take a 4090 right now, the cheapest one is 30.9 Clore per day. And with Clore at about 20 cents a coin, that puts us about $6.18 per day to rent this 4090. But let's go take a look at the next one down. So a 3090 Ti is the next lowest. So let's change our GPU. And as you see, it doesn't have a 3090 Ti. It does have a 3090. Well, let's go ahead and grab that one. Well, that says it's going to cost 41 Clore per day. Wait a minute. A 3090, it only does 9 ITs per second, where a 4090 does 16 ITs per second. Why would we pay more for a 3090 than a 4090? That's a great question. And that's the thing. You've really got to shop around and know what you're getting into. But also, while you're shopping around for your graphics card, I highly recommend take a look at the rating from previous users. How well has that GPU performed? Have they had problems with it? Lost connectivity? Well, if it's got a real low rating like a 1.5, probably means it could be temperamental. But then you've got the one down here that has a rating of 5.0. That's a 5-star rating, but it's going to cost a little bit more. So you have to decide, is it worth paying a little bit more for a higher rated, or do you want to give it a shot to save a few bucks and maybe it works out great, maybe it doesn't. Now, I've rented out many different GPUs. Some had horrible ratings, but worked awesome. Others had great ratings and worked horribly. So to be honest, it's kind of a hit or miss deal. So the best thing I can recommend is go through and keep refreshing this, because new GPUs will be popping up all the time. So right now we're setting on the 4090s. Let's go and refresh it and see if we had one pop up for a better deal. Okay, we just had one pop up, 30 Clore a day, max duration 2 days. Sounds good to me. Once you find the GPU you want, go ahead and click rent. That's going to take the next screen asking what software you want to install on that machine. So for this, we want to go with the PyTorch. So go ahead and click select on that. Scroll down, it's going to ask you to configure your order. Don't change a thing, but it does let us know it's going to cost 0.75 Clore plus 1 minute of rental time to launch this contract. So if you're good with that, go ahead and click create. Now that's going to take me over to my orders tab. And as you can see right here, that GPU I just rented is order number 184165. That's also going to give me all the information on my order. It tells my order lifetime is a maximum of 48 hours. The price is 30 Clore per day. Total spend is 0.8125 Clore. And currently the image status is deploying. Now we have to wait until this deploying changes to deployed. That means we're ready to fire up our miner. If you want to check the status on that, go ahead and click down here on where it says show logs. That's going to bring up the logs of what's going on that server right now. So all these tasks have to complete. Once that occurs, this deploying will turn into deployed. So right now, we simply wait. Okay, we finally changed over to deployed, and I can tell you that it took about 20 minutes, a little slower than I like to see. I've had them take as quick as 5 minutes or as long as 30 minutes. So it really starts to make me wonder, is this going to be a good GPU? Now, at any point in time, I can cancel the contract, say, hey, it's just not performing well. And all I have to do is go down here, click cancel order. It'll stop charging me. It'll return the GPU back to the pot, and I can go rent another one. So don't believe that you're stuck with the GPU you rent if it's not performing well. Simply cancel it and go find a new one. Okay, but now let's get this miner up and running, shall we? So here on our order tab, what we want to do is click on this HTTP link right here. Now that's going to open up an option here. Do we want to go with Jupyter Lab or Visual Studio Code? Well, for this, we're going to go Jupyter Lab. So go ahead and click on that. Okay, the next screen is going to ask, what type of launcher do we want to run? We want to run in terminal mode. And that's going to bring up something that should look very familiar. Our favorite $sign is back. That's right. We're going to be running in code mode. Now, what I want you to do next is click on the link below that says Clore Script Nimble. Okay, this is what we're going to get all of our information from. Now we've got to be able to see this script and that terminal screen at the same time. So I'm going to try and squeeze both these on the screen at the same time. Make sure we can get them all in here. Okay, we're ready to get going. Now one quick pointer is over here on the Nimble script. If you see anything with a hashtag at the beginning, that is a comment section. Do not copy that. That is not code. So we're just going to work our way right down the list, section by section. Now I can tell you that I've run these, running the entire block of code at once, not had any problems. Some people say they like to do a line by line. That's totally up to you. In this example, I'm going to do blocks of code just to show you exactly how it performs. So let's grab this first block of code. So we've got hashtag. Okay, so the code starts right here and it runs to the next hashtag. So we're going to copy all of that. We're going to jump over here into our terminal screen and we're going to paste it in. And there it goes. It's off and running. Now what we're doing is waiting to see that $sign come up again to go to the next step. Okay, it took a while, but we made it to the end and we're back to the $sign. So once again, let's go back over to our scripting page. Next line is a hashtag. We're going to skip that and we're going to grab this next line of code, which is a single line. We're going to copy that, jump back over into our terminal screen and paste it into place and hit enter. Okay, we're back at the $sign. Let's go ahead and skip over the next hashtag, jump to the next block of code. So we'll copy all that, jump back into our terminal screen and paste it into place, and away we go. Now, here's a very interesting thing that happens. See right here where it hit the $sign, but it has a little bit of code left, and it's waiting for a response? All we have to do at this point in time is just hit enter, and it'll run that last line of code. Now we're back at the $sign, we're ready to go for the next section. So back over here on our scripting document, skip the hashtag, grab that next line of code there, copy that, back into our terminal screen, and paste it into place and hit enter. So sometimes it'll automatically start running. Others you have to hit enter to tell it to run. Now, this next block is really important. Even if you're installing this line by line of code, this one you must take the entire block all in one chunk, okay? That is really critical. So we're gonna grab that whole chunk of code, copy that, jump back into our terminal screen and paste it into place. Now this one looks really weird because it doesn't do anything. It stops at that block of code we just put in. Just hit enter to get it going. There you go. We're back to the $sign. Back to our scripting page, skip over the hashtag. Now we grab the next two lines, copy those, jump back to our terminal and paste those in. Now this is the one that's going to take a while. This make install, this is a long chunk of code. So it's going to be 5 to 10 minutes. So right now I recommend grab yourself a drink, check back and wait for this guy to finish its job. Okay, during this process, you're going to hit a point when it says error. That is totally normal. Do not freak out. And I know it looks like an error and then everything just stops working. It's still working right now. Give it another couple minutes. It's got to do a little bit more code. Then we'll be back to the $sign and we'll take care of that error. Okay, we're finally back to the $sign. I know that part takes a long time. That's the majority of the work. So from here, it's going to go pretty fast and pretty smooth. But this error code we had pop up, well, that's what we're going to fix now. So back to our guide here. We skip over the next hashtag and we grab the next 2 lines of code, copy those, jump back into our terminal and paste them in. Okay, and the first one ran automatically. The next one, we have to hit enter to run the remainder of the code. And that's going to fix that error code. And we're back to the $sign. All right, 2 more lines left. Now, the last 2 lines we have to do independently. We cannot do them as a block of code, okay? So we're going to skip over the next hashtag, and we're going to grab the first line of code that says source. So we're going to copy that, jump back into our script, and we're going to paste that into place and hit enter. And there we are. We're back at the $sign. Okay, now this is where it gets a little confusing, but very, very critical. The very last line of code starts with TMUX. Okay, we're going to copy that line of code, but we are not going to paste that into our terminal screen. We're going to bring up our notepad. Okay, so go to a new line on that and paste in what we just got out of our guide. Now, this line of code, I want you to pay special attention. See right here where it goes equal Nimble _ address? We have to put our subwallet address to replace this part of the code. So we're going to grab our subwallet address right here. We're going to copy that, and we're going to replace Nimble _ address. Just like that. But keep that quotation at the end, okay? So it should look just like this with address equals your subwallet address. Now we can copy this entire line of code and go back into our terminal and paste that line of code in. And then hit enter. Now, it may look like nothing's actually happening, but believe it or not, your miner is up and running right now. To check that, go to the very last line here on the guide, and it says to access your instance, simply type TMUX attach. So we're just going to copy that. We're going to jump over here onto the terminal and paste into place. And as you can see, the old computer doesn't like running code. That's okay, it'll still do it. Hit enter, and that'll bring up our mining screen. And that lets us know that the miner is running, and it's running out on the server. So the great thing is I can turn this computer off right now, and it will keep mining. Okay, so after you shut down your computer and you want to go back in, check on your miner, really easy. Log back into Clore. From there, go into Marketplace. And then in Marketplace, click on My Orders. Now that's going to bring up all the GPUs that you're currently renting. Now, this is my main machine, and as you can tell, I've got several versions here, but I need to keep track of them because each one has a different time limit, and it does count down right on the screen how much time you have left for your contract. So keep an eye on this because the last thing you want to do is think that you're mining and realize that your time has expired. But if you want to go in and check the status on any one of your miners, simply click back in that same link as before. Then it's going to ask you if you want the Jupyter Lab or the Visual Studio Code. Well, we made them with Jupyter Lab, so we're going to go back in there. Then it'll bring up the instance of your miner that's running. Now, I want to alert you how this is going to work. Because see right here, we've got this bar that says 77% complete, and this particular GPU is mining at 10 iterations per second. Well, it's got to fill this first bar up complete. Okay, that's doing the work. But now let's look at another graphics card. So once the work is complete and the first bar is 100%, it starts a second bar that also has to go up to 100%. Now that is the compiling phase. Both of these bars have to complete to 100%, then it will be completed, and that is when you get paid. So you definitely have to decide when to shut a miner down. And you know what, if you've only got 30 minutes left on a miner contract, but it's at 10%, why not shut it down early, save that few extra Clore tokens, start up a new one. You'll catch it before it runs out and just bleeds dry, because if it doesn't hit that complete 100% on both bars and give you the green text saying job is done, you will not get paid. So be very careful of that and keep an eye on your miners as this process is running. Okay, finally, let's talk about how do we get paid and how do we check how many Nimble tokens we have. Well, to do that, we've got to go back to the Discord. So let's pull that up. Now, if you go over here in the Discord, you're going to see a channel called Miner Tools. Go ahead and open that. And then right here, you're going to see a balance checker. Let's go ahead and click on that and open the balance checker website. Now it tells you this tool is only for checking the master wallet address. Remember, we created the master wallet to begin with, and that's where all your rewards are going to go. So once again, we're going to go back to our notepad. We're going to go back to the wallet master address, copy that, then open up the wallet checker, paste in our master address, and click check balance. And currently, as you see, I've mined a total of 705 Nimble tokens. I've been running this about a week with multiple miners. Now, they do pay out the Nimble token once a day, and it's usually in the evening here in the United States. Now, the important thing here to realize is every sub-wallet that you registered with your master wallet will pay into this one master address. Well, I think that covers just about everything. We've taken a 10-year-old computer, created our wallet, rented some GPUs, and started mining a cutting-edge AI technology coin. So this could be really lucrative, but as we know, this is speculative. So decide for yourself how much you're willing to spend on a speculative token, because the last thing I want you to do is spend a whole bunch of money, and then once Nimble launches, it turns out to be a whole lot less than we're anticipating. So be careful out there and manage your risks. Wait, what was that? Oh, you have your own graphics card and you want to know how to do that? Well, the great thing is you've already done 80% of the work, and running your own graphics card is so quick and simple. Let me show you real quick. So to mine with your own graphics card, go back to the guide of Z4CH nodes. Okay, open that up. Also, open up the Ubuntu that we've already installed and configured. Now scroll down on the guide. So go down to this first set of code where it says sudo apt update. We're going to copy that and paste that straight into our Ubuntu and hit enter. It's going to ask us for a password. As soon as we enter that, it starts rocking and rolling. The next thing we've got to do is check our Go version. So we can go ahead and copy that part, go back into Ubuntu, paste that in, and it says our Go version is 1.22.1. Perfect. Okay, next scroll down, install Nimble's Wallet CLI. Okay, we'll copy that box of code, paste that in, and hit enter. Now, the next one says generate a Nimble wallet. We've already created our wallets. We don't have to go through this process again. So skip past that, go down to where it says set up Nimble miner. And we'll copy that box of code, paste that into Ubuntu. Okay, once that's complete, go ahead and copy the next box of code, paste that into Ubuntu. Okay, that's completed. Now activate the miner. So we'll copy that box of code and paste that in. Our miner is ready to start running. Now the last line of code is where we're going to put the code together with our wallet address. But I wanted to give you a quick pointer. If you're someone like me that has multiple graphics cards, we have to tell Ubuntu what graphics card we're running. So on my notepad, I created these two lines of code. My primary graphics card is device equals 0. On my secondary graphics card, it's device equal 1. So take this line of code where it says export CUDA underscore visible underscore device, and then what device you want to mine on. So I'm going to run on my 4070 Ti. So I'll copy that line of code, go back into my Ubuntu, and just paste that in and hit enter. That's going to tell it which card to utilize. So if you want to know where I got the device equals 0 and the device equals 1, just hit Control-Alt-Delete on your machine. From there, click on Task Manager. Now when Task Manager comes up here, go down here to where it says Performance. And when you click on the Performance tab, it's going to list out all the hardware in your computer. So you can see right here, GPU 0 is the 4070 Ti. My GPU 1 is the 3060. So it really depends on which one I want to mine with. So that's where I got the 0 and the 1. So back on my notepad here, the 0 is for the 4070 and the 1 is for the 3060. Now back on our guide, the very last line of code is make run address equals our wallet address. So just like before, we're going to copy that, go back over to our notepad, and we're going to paste that into place. Now we have to replace this bracket wallet address bracket. We have to put in our wallet address. So grab your sub wallet address that you want to use to mine on your personal graphics card, paste it right after the equal sign, and then copy this entire line of code. Copy that over, then go back to Ubuntu, paste that in, and hit enter. And you are now officially mining on your personal graphics card, and you even get to select which graphics card you're mining on. Now I can tell you, you can mine on multiple graphics cards in the same machine. All I have to do is open another version of Ubuntu, run through the code off the node Z4CH, and then from there, put in this line of code that defines which graphics card I'm mining on. But remember, I have to have a sub-wallet for each of those graphics cards. So that's why personally, I've created a whole pile of sub-wallets. That's why I recommended earlier, you make all 10 at once. That way you've got them start running. Now, to give you an idea, right now, my 4070 Ti running on my computer while I'm recording this is pulling down 7.8 iterations per second. That's not bad. And the great thing is, I don't have to pay anybody to do this. I just have to let my computer run. Now, I do want to warn you, you have to keep this terminal open. As soon as I close this terminal here, it stops mining. So what I recommend, shrink this little guy down, stick him up in the corner of your screen, and let him run. Just remember that it's running right there, so if you try gaming or doing anything like that, you're probably going to run into problems. You might want to choose to shut this guy down. Okay, I think we've definitely covered just about everything we can so far, but if you do have any questions, put in the comments below, or better yet, hop in the Discord. Please remember, I'm not a coder. I was able to follow their guidance and these guides that were made by these amazing people to get all this up and going and to give you this great information. So I hope this has been entertaining and educational. If so, do me a huge favor. Hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to keep bringing you the best crypto information I can. So I want to thank you very much for your time. Until next time, have a great night.